Welcome back to my series. In the series, we've been talking about using AngularJS and SharePoint. In the last video, I created a Angular form and I was able to submit it to a SharePoint list. So today we'll be using the same thing, same service, HTTP, and we'll be working on getting a user profile and using this to our advantage in creating a form. So what we want to do is do an auto populate of the person's first name and last name. So let's get back to our form, our HTML, and we'll add full name and last name, first name and last name. Now we're going to create our function, and our function is to get the current user profile information. So we'll just label this function get current user. We'll use the service HTTP. I'll copy this information from below. And we'll just use the web absolute URL. Next, we need the method. The method we're using is get, so we can get the information. Next is the headers that we need, so we're able to retrieve the information. Then we need to get the promise. As I said here, we need to return the promise in, as we saw in the submit, which is that is resolved or rejected. Let's do a console.log so we can see the information. So we'll save that. And let's go here to the site and open up developer tools. To refresh. So let's not forget to call the function so we can run this get current user and save it. So here we go. We have the data. And if we look at the data, let me try to zoom this a little bit so we can just look at the data a little bit. So it returned the data here. And we see my display name, my email. And we'll use this one, user profile properties. It has more information. And this is great for working with within an organization and trying to provide the information for users for anything that you're trying to do. So we have our last name, as you see the value, and also our first name. This is a testing environment, so I don't really have much. We can try to do work number as well. But for right now, we'll work with these. All right, so that information worked. So next we will want to save the information that we need. So we need to save it into a variable. So first, we're gonna create an empty string for the first name and last name. So when we look at the data that we're receiving, we have the data that is captured. So the data right here represents this response. So we will need to drill down to the information that we do want. So let's do that and test it out first. So as you see, I drilled down all the way to the first name. So let's test this out first and do a save. There we go. Correctly, but this is a long way to drill down to get using dot notation to get to the information that we want. So what we'll do is we'll save the majority of this information into let's just say, let's call it info. Now we'll be able to reference this. And here we go. And here's the information that we need. So we need to grab the first and the last name, and let's do that. Let's make it easier to, instead of trying to type all of this over again. Now, the next thing that we will do is we're gonna grab since it's binding, Angular is binding, we're gonna get this information, the user information right here for the first name. And we're gonna make that equal to our first name. We'll do the same thing for the last name. And there we have it. This will help the users have a better experience by seeing that they don't have to type in information that we should already have, the organization should already have. We can also do the same thing for email as well. So there you have it. How to auto-populate using the user information. We used my get properties here and the service, the HTTP service from Angular.